Hello, dear friends, my lovely audience, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the East West Show. Jack Chow on the East West Show with G&E TV, obviously with my friend Ken Hemming, who I highly appreciate for his part that donated to the community for the building of the community. I call it a healthy community, that he has done a great job. And his job is so widely recognized, so highly spoke about, that every time I met a friend of mine who saw our show, who sees our show, they all spoke highly about him. My dear friend, a brother by the same mother, Mr. Ken Hemming. So with that as lead line, welcome back to the show.
Highlight of my week is your viewers and you, Jack. And thank you for allowing me to be with you.
So once again, when we say back, we're talking about this is the weekly update, right? For the past week, we have lots of going on. Some of them are really talkable subjects. I can say that each week is a busy week. And the last week is the week that you probably want to think about it twice. With Ken Hemming, we started right away. So
we're ready.
What do you want to put on top of your subject for today?
Well, I think we should start, Jack, with the 5 days that were dedicated to ceremonies related to the death of Senator McCain. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he's a good guy. He had a very ordinary Senate career, not massively outstanding. He was shot down in Vietnam, and he refused to come get an early release back to America because his dad was an admiral and he stayed with his men. But other than that, he has been, they've politicized the Republicans in names only, the media, the leftist media, and the radical left socialist leaders in the Democratic Party have now all glorified him for 5 days, which I think is quite excessive, to be honest. This is my opinion. And by the way, I also know that when I share my observations and opinion, some viewers will agree with me and some will disagree, and I respect them 100% equally. You know, so their opinion is as valuable as anybody. Yeah. So
they will write to you. They will point their fingers at you.
If
you say something wrong, feel free to do so.
Well, I don't say something that I believe is wrong, but I say what I see and I say what I feel. And so the thing is, they're basically this glorification of McCain's service, which is fine, was a setup to have opportunities to slam President Trump, because President Trump and McCain didn't get along well. You know, not everybody gets along with everybody. They had a lot of different views, and McCain was, uttered many negative comments about President Trump, and as we know, President Trump always responds, okay? And so they stretched this out to have as many perceptions of negativity toward our president, including his daughter Meghan McCain at the funeral, that just made some, in my opinion, very unnecessary, unworthy allusions to President Trump. And everything that was said about McCain was glorifying his existence as if he was Jesus Christ number 2. Now, back in 2008, McCain was a presidential candidate to run for president of the United States against Obama. And at that time, the same people, on the left, called him a racist, a white supremacist, a no good, whatever, every kind of possible name, looked for anything negative and demeaned him as if he was dirt, Now, when he passes away and there's conflicts between him and our president on some things, which ended up in the Senate at 2 o'clock in the morning when he cast the deciding vote to repeal Obamacare with a nasty face and a really rude classless thumbs down. You can vote no with dignity, and you can vote no with classlessness. I watched it. It was, it was 2 o'clock back there, and it was just nasty. So no one's got to be nasty. So anyway, I really think the same people. I mean, they've shown a lot of what they called him and said about him back in the Obama race, and I think he was a weak candidate. He didn't stand up to Obama, and he didn't debate with strength.
Are you done with the issue?
Well, the issue will live for the rest of our lives.
I know, but are you done?
My opening statement?
You bring up the issue.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Let me say something.
Yeah, I love you.
I love you for you loving me.
Yeah,
right?
thanks.
All right. I may not agree with you on this issue, right? And let's do it one by one. Let's check one by one.
Okay,
right?
great.
And I'm not talking about the issue itself. I'm not talking about the eulogies. I'm not talking about the ceremonies. I'm not even talking about the service.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the speeches made by 2 former presidents. And I'm not even talking about the speeches made by any of the speakers.
Okay.
I'm talking about first the culture as a fact, right? Let me and you lay down the ground our culture, our cultures or our culture, if we share anything in common. At this point, I don't know yet. In China, we adore such a belief that death is the supreme.
Okay.
All right. Meaning that the moment of death, everybody silences, every mouth shut.
Okay.
Right. Even the person of controversy, even the person of half and half. Of course, we're not talking about enemies. We're talking about a regular person.
Right.
Regular person.
Just a normal
normal person
of China.
A normal person could be good or bad. Let's say Jack Chow dies someday.
Right.
All right. 50% of me good, 50% of me bad. So people on the on the side who do say the bad things about me will shut up.
They should.
As a matter of fact, nobody shut them up. It's themselves, they refrain themselves from not shutting up.
Correct.
So
I
I'm
love
checking with you. I'm checking with you. Is this a common ground here? Do you find a common ground here in this culture, or do you not?
This particular instance with the passing of Senator McCain, I don't think there was that culture that you're talking about in China where just be quiet, bury them with, with love and respect and whatever your feelings are, keep them to yourself. And what happened when he passed away, just instantly they jumped on trying to politicize it and use...
No. We're talking about different issues.
Okay.
I'm talking about the bad mouth.
That's right.
I'm talking about the bad mouth.
They used his death to badmouth in their own way the president.
I'm not talking about the bad mouth about the president. I'm talking about the bad mouth to him.
Oh, well, there was no need to.
Has any bad mouth shut up?
Well, sure. No, I mean, there's been a lot of commentary about the positive and negative
Let's do it one by one.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Let's do it one by one,
Yes,
all
sir.
right? Well, step number one, just to confirm one thing, back then, during Obama time, during the campaign though, there were lots of bad words about him.
Absolutely.
Even from the left, from an extreme left, from whatever left, anybody who tilted to the left though spoke bad words about him.
And you don't have to speak bad just because
I know.
yeah,
No.
But they did.
And now at this time though, this moment though, I've been checking with you. Is it a custom? Is it customed culture that even the bad mouth back then shuts up now?
Well, what happened...
Because of respect to death.
But they did not shut up. That's the point. He could have been buried with dignity, appreciation, a nice funeral, and viewing, whatever. I'm not sure.
So anybody spoke bad words about him?
They spoke a lot of negative realities of his period of 61 years of service in America. But what they did,
who was the one that criticized him for his 61 years of service to America.
Well, you know, I look at all the left and the right leaning TV stations, listen to commentaries, read articles, and they highlight the positive and the negative of a life of service. I mean, he was in the Senate for 36 years, okay, and it wasn't like unbelievably special and outstanding. It was there, and he was there. That's all good. Now, you know, I am a believer in term limits. Whether Republican or Democrat, we should not have lifetime politicians. They all get tempted with corruption, and many succumb to corruption temptations. And then they do forget, Jack, these politicians that want to be long-term politicians have only one job: to get reelected. And
Term
they forget
limit,
they're working
the
for
term
the people.
term limit does not start him, does not end with him. All right?
No,
It is not because him. So he has nothing to do with the term limits. I am only talking about give this man, give this individual, human being, a summary, a reasonable summary. Has anybody brought anything bad about him?
Well, bad's not the right word. There have been positive observations and negative.
Yes,
his
exactly.
vote against
exactly.
Obamacare at the
that's
end
exactly,
was a horrific
That's
act.
exactly step number one.
Right.
I'm checking with you.
Yes.
So as a conclusion, you probably have to agree that even in the American culture, there is the common ground with the Chinese culture that the death is the supreme. All right?
Well,
at the moment of death, people, even the opposite people of the opposite side, shuts up, and we did shut up. We did behave. Am I right?
I don't think so. I love what you say. You know, what you say is lovely, but it opened up the opportunity for these people to use his passing as a way of getting digs at the president.
That's another issue.
Okay.
My dear friend, let's wrap up the first issue that we do find common ground that in culture, in the two different cultures, we really want to confirm one thing, that not only Chinese customs respect death, the American customs too. It is the moment of shutting a bad mouth up, right? With respect, with dignity, you bury this person, let him or her rest in peace forever. That's the purpose, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. My dear friend, that starts up with the first segment of our weekly update, but we are not done on the single issue yet. With Ken and I, we can always dig into 2,000 years in the history,
we can.
And we'll look back forward for another 2,000 years. That's 4,000 years already, all right?
Oh, I love it. I wish I was 4,000 years old.
Okay. Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow with my friend Ken Hemming on the weekly update, having lots of fun. We find the common grounds, we find differences, respect each other with differences. We let differences remain, we move on forward, right? That's always the rule of the game, and also the custom that he and we kept up for years. I believe that itself sets up an example for the community. My dear friend, welcome back to the East-West show on the weekly update. So from that point on, my dear brother Cam,
yes,
right, I still want to stretch a little bit. Okay, now, Senator McCain passed away. Let his soul rest in peace. Right?
Yes.
And that part is done.
Yes.
No more talking about that, right? Okay, now, to use his death to do anything purposely, positive or negative, I strongly go against.
I do too.
Do you agree with me?
Totally.
Right?
100%.
Right. Why, please?
Well, you know, when a person passes, that should be the culmination of their life on planet Earth. like in America too, there's a different view of somebody who, say, was a Christian during his life and believed that he's going to heaven or someplace, or a pure atheist. I've got a lot of friends that are pure atheists. When they're dead, they're dead, and there's really not much to celebrate. Okay, you're happy he was alive, you had fun with them, or he or she, and but so there's a difference in some of the cultural views of the meaning of death between Christians and atheists. Okay, which means non-believer.
Whichever religion this person belonged to, let us, the survivors, believe that they, who she or he, just went to their world of called nirvana.
Right.
Or something like that.
Right.
Is their nirvana. We may not understand the content of it, but they enjoy, and they are enjoy starting day one now. Right? So there's no argument of a hell, of a heaven, of whatsoever. Or let's just believe this person goes to his own nirvana. That's it.
Okay. Now, and then when Senator McCain, he was going to pass away, he wrote sort of a closing statement on his life. In that closing statement, he had a lot of allusions and negative comments about President Trump. And the family asked or ordered President Trump not to come to the funeral. Now, that's kind of nasty. Okay, that's kind of not nice. And if you say when someone passes away, it should try to bring you together with a little bit more unity, because we're all humans.
That is the part I disagree.
With me or with him?
With you. I disagree with you.
How? Because I can't imagine it.
We just talk about respect of death, right? We talk about respect of death, include death wish. Death wish itself, unless it goes against the law, it has the supreme right to be kept with totally what this person wishes. If Senator McCain says, I don't want to see Jack Chow, of course I'll stay home.
And I would never say that to anybody.
Yes, of course. I know you will not.
To anybody.
You will not.
Right.
You will not does not mean Senator McCain would not either. Right? Okay, now, if Senator McCain rolls in his dash with, say, go kill Jack Chow after my death.
Right.
And then he violates the American law in his death wish, so his death wish will not be realized. Other than that, everything has to be realized. That is total respect. There's no politics in there, number one. There's no custom in there. There's no culture in there. That is a common understanding. That is the part I disagree with you.
Okay, but he did show classless disrespect to our president. And he used his own death to mock and to demean President Trump. And most people wouldn't do that.
An example, please?
Read his statement. I could bring it. We could read it on the air next time. And also in these eulogies, including from George Bush and Obama, little digs at the president.
I know
That's just inappropriate.
I know how much you love President Trump.
Nothing to do with love or
and
not.
Nothing to do with I have no problem.
Appropriateness and class.
I have no problem how much you love President Donald Trump, right? I am talking about it is Senator McCain's right to say what he wanted to say in his own death will.
He has that right. I respect that right. I personally think it did not show dignity and class on his part.
Right. You know what's the best way to deal with it? Just assume nothing had been written. Just assume
he didn't need to write something.
Just assume gone with the wind.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Because the person, the soul, the mind, everything is gone already.
See,
let bygones be bygones, and let it go by the wind.
That's the right way. Yeah, like when I die, there's going to be a beautiful party at my golf club. Everybody's welcome.
Why President Donald Trump never argued, never explained, never said anything why he was not invited.
No.
He has his own
class.
He has his own right to say who I wanted, who I do not want it at my funeral. And President Donald Trump say, I may have my own schedule, I may not even have time. Something like that, right? No. Let each be respecting each other. And us, the bystanders, we just watch things happen. We give it a smile and let it go. How about that?
I study how a person does handle their death, and you handle it with dignity and honor, or you don't.
Oh yes, of course.
Okay.
There are different ways.
So in this study, I think there was a lot of very inappropriate misuses, and particularly like the media that said all these horrible things about McCain, 10 years ago. Now it's like he walks on water.
No,
it's just ridiculous hypocrisy.
That's another thing that you and I.
Hypocrisy was
That's
outrageous.
another thing you and I shall come back talk about. And I prepared lots of stuff
You're
that we
always
got,
good.
and for that I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I advance my agreement with you because I do agree with you about what they do.
Yeah.
It is nothing but what they do that reflects the dirty part of our culture.
Which is getting dirtier by the day.
Which is getting dirtier by the day.
It is.
All right.
It is.
1 minute, boom.
I'm pretty ashamed.
The other minute, boom. Yeah. And then they are boom, 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 boom. Yeah. They are the one doing the whole thing.
Yep.
And we, the bystanders, the audiences, are being drifted from left to right. That's the part we're talking about.
Right.
Now, let's come back to hold our fort.
Yes, sir.
For the soul of Senator McCain. May God bless him, right? So, the right he had, he assumed his right. He did what he wanted to say. He did say what he wanted to say. And Donald Trump was man enough not to get back to him even a word.
Just like me, I'm
no
unoffendable.
comment, no comment, no word, no nothing. Right?
That's fine.
No comment, no nothing. If he feels unhappy about it, if somebody changed, if the family says, Mr. Donald Trump, we're sorry for our father, and please come over. And he might say, I'm busy that night, I'm busy that day, I'm very sorry, I can't come.
He might. But
those are the ways to do.
By the way, his daughter and her husband were at the funeral.
All right.
So there was a Trump
That's
there.
good.
Yeah,
There was
right.
a Trump there.
Yeah.
That was a Trump part there.
Yeah.
And Senator McCain himself did not reject the whole Trump.
Well,
did not reject
he
whole
did not
Trump.
invite them to it. Ivanka's a friend with Meghan McCain, his daughter, and she said, "Do you mind if my husband and I come?"
As
and
you can see,
the left media then they demeaned him for showing up and coming, and they just
no.
They did.
That's totally wrong.
I know it's
Why
wrong.
demean them?
Because
Why demean them?
They hate everything.
They have
Trump.
the right. They have the right now because you hate
Yeah.
You hate him. You hate Trump. Whoever. I do
Right.
not hate. That's my father.
I don't hate anybody. Yeah. Right.
Okay. And then, well, the daughter, and the son-in-law, they all deserve to have their own friends.
Absolutely. Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if they're not friends, though, if you invited, I will go.
Yeah.
I will go.
Yeah.
I will go. Right. So people, you know what? So people are using any moment to make their issues.
Which they should not do, because
Which
that
they
is
should not do.
disrespectful to the passing of a human.
Yes, all right. That is where we started.
Right.
That we
Exactly. We agree
were
on that
started.
perfectly.
And the shutdown of the mouth does
Yeah.
not only include the bad mouth,
Right.
and also include the good for nothing mouth.
Right. Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
The much ado about nothing
Right.
mouth.
Perfect. Perfect
Right?
phrase.
So the gossip mouth. How about that? Right. So the political gossip is even worse.
Right.
Even worse. So let survivors live, let survivors celebrate the life, and the life goes on. And how about that?
And I'll tell you who I felt sorry for. I felt sorry for his widow, his wife, because she's got 5 days of just going to all these things that just bring out.
Yeah.
I mean, just have a funeral, bury the gentleman, and go home and relax.
Don't forget it.
That family suffered for 5 years.
Don't forget,
5
she
days.
is an old woman already.
Well, yeah, and a lovely woman, very nice.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
For her to to bear with the hustle and rustles, right, for 5 extra days, or something.
Oh, it was terrible for them.
Exactly. I feel sorry for John McCain.
And I would say too, President Trump did allow Air Force Two to move the body from place A to B and B to C.
That's a big thing.
And that's a big thing.
That's a big thing we're talking about, right?
And I support that. It's a lot of our taxpayer money.
Any petty-mindedness will refuse it.
Yeah.
And he has a good reason to refuse it.
Yeah.
Right.
But he did do it.
My dear friend, my lovely friend, let's take a short break. We'll come back to continue. The event, the ceremony, or the funeral for John McCain itself for event is over. The leftovers are the ones that we want to really, really chew.
Right.
The more you chew, the more you can talk about.
Big family.
Stay with us, right? With Ken Hemming, we have lots of fun. We'll be right back, please. Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Today on the weekly update, we really want to share with you our thoughts. May God bless Senator John McCain. Life, left are still going on, and his survivors wish them every single one of them live a happy life.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, and the event was over. Senator John McCain was peacefully buried. That was the end of it. That's the whole thing. However, the leftovers, what are we talking about, right?
Yes.
Now, first, you know what? I feel sorry for him as a dead body.
I do too. The poor guy was carried around so many times.
And
they didn't let him rest for 5 days.
I felt sorry for the family.
Absolutely.
Both my parents passed away.
Yes, sir.
All right. To tell my audience the truth, there's no human mind can feel anything that is sorrower than bear the moment to bury your own mother and father.
Absolutely true.
And yet, of course, you appreciate your friends around you who supported you, who comfort you, who try to everything they can to minimize the impact, right? But you yourself, did you ever wish the moment go as short as possible?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. I got to spend about 4 hours with my mom when my sister found her dead in Ojai.
Did that seem too long?
I loved every minute. I hugged her, I kissed her,
that's different ways.
It was good.
I tell my feeling, my true feeling. All right, there might be people who feel your way. All right, there might be people who feel my way. All right, now, and there are also different traditions, different custom ways. Mm-hmm. In the American way, when you do a ceremony, when you do a funeral, you do it almost in a ceremonial way. You celebrate the life of a human being.
Yes.
Right? There is a very limited crying, very controlled crying there.
I cry at funerals.
I know.
I do.
But there is a very controlled crying there.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're the one, because you're the son, and you're the one crying a little bit. People come pat on your shoulder, right? Take it easy.
Yeah.
All right, life goes on.
No comfort in that.
Yeah. Or say something else. All of a sudden, mention the weather or something.
Yeah, right.
There's a lovely day.
To distract. Right.
To distract him, right?
That's good.
However,
that
in
helps.
China, the custom is that the louder the cry,
okay,
the better the service.
Okay.
All right. Now, suppose a son.
Yeah, it's kind of like wailing. Yeah.
A son a daughter in that very moment, you want it to be over 1 hour or 3 hours or 5 days.
The shorter the better.
Shorter the better.
Now, in our case, we had to get
At that very moment, when I heard about the news about the 5 days, the schedule,
was
or DC all the way, and then the cemetery, I immediately felt sorry for Senator McCain as a dead soul, for the family members who have to endure the whole thing.
I think it was really hard on the wife, the family members, because it was like, all they do 5 days, you're wearing black and you're going to places that are emotional.
If I may, with all respect, of course, nothing with ill-mindedness.
Sure.
I'm totally from a pure heart, though.
Yeah, you are pure.
If I use a term, was that the fact that you used a dead body as a display?
Yeah, and it was, his passing was used to maximize political opportunities. And it shouldn't be. A person passes away, Republican, Democrat, atheist, who cares? Just process the situation, give them a dignified burial, and everybody must move on in life, because none of us are getting out of here alive.
So then it goes the media, right? I totally, I feel pissed off by the extreme media, left or right. I don't like that. They take the moment. They take advantage of that very moment.
They did.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think the taking advantage is the term?
Absolutely. They politicized the passing of a gentleman to use it for agenda and resistance opportunities. And really, it just, and everybody, there's a lot of smart people in America. They know it was just overdone and it was inappropriate.
John McCain was not perfect.
No.
Neither am I.
Right.
Neither are you.
Right.
Nobody is, all right?
Right.
Okay, now, to criticize me, go ahead. All right? To sing a song about me,
Go ahead.
go
too.
ahead.
Yeah.
To write a beautiful essay about me, go ahead. Well, just make sure you do not punch in my face. For that, you go to jail.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
Right.
Right now. But the problem is that the joking part is that one moment I'm a hero, the other I'm a trash.
Yeah, right.
Right.
He was trashed in 2008.
Yeah, back then, 2008, though,
He was trashed.
in the fight with the President Obama, former President Obama, he was, the way he was dealt with, made him a trash.
They did. They trashed him. They did their
Made him a
best.
trash.
And the thing is, see, the difference between McCain and then
And all of a sudden, including Obama himself, he becomes a hero.
Yeah, I know.
And the number one hero of the whole nation.
No, that's exactly because the media just fell in love with him, even though he had never had a real job in his life. He was a community organizer. He never had a job. He never controlled the payroll. He just actually...
He doesn't have to. If he does a good job like he did, he doesn't have to. I'm just saying he is not a perfect man. He's never been a perfect man. Nobody has been a perfect man.
None of us are, right?
None of us are perfect man.
None.
But I'm talking about the extreme media will criticize him the most way they could 10 years ago.
See, in 10 years ago, now,
10 years ago,
when they trashed McCain, he just took it. Okay. Now the difference between 2008 and 2016 is they trashed President Trump as much as they could, and he just out-trashed him back because he stood up to him. And McCain just took it. Just walked around with bruises all the time. He didn't fight back.
That's even the sadder part.
It's very sad. It's very submissively
That's a sadder
sad.
part. That's even the sadder part. Yeah.
Stand up for yourself. If you believe in yourself, make sure every potential voter in America knows you believe you're the right man for this job. And he didn't do that. And it was extremely weak in debates. He had no real aggressive, authoritarian, and responsive postures. And then they trash Trump, and he just out-trashes you. And that's why people like him. because we were tired, we being whatever, you know, including a lot of Democrats in America, are tired of,
And once again,
of a lack of leadership.
and once again, it comes to John McCain of his characteristics.
Yeah.
He did stand what he believed right.
I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, I gave him credit for that,
Right.
right? And well, you know what? At the right moment, he did give him the right support. And he did give him the right comment, too.
And when McCain just last ran for Senate, it was all about overturning Obamacare. That was his whole thing. Just like when Obama said, if you like your doctor, you can keep him. That was just a flat out lie. And then McCain kept saying, you know, of course we got to overturn that. Then when he had a vote to overturn Obamacare, he goes to the sewer and points
The
down.
decisive moment. He made the decisive vote, right?
Yes. the
That
last vote.
may be a blow to a bunch of people, though. That indicates to me he is the one that has the guts to stand out at the moment, at the right moment.
Here's the deal: you have a right to vote no, but you don't have a right to really be classless about it. You just hit no at your desk, and there's a no. But what he did, he made a show out of it, like P.T. Barnum in a circus.
All right,
and going in like that
yeah.
at 2 a.m. with a frown and a thumbs down.
Politicians sometimes show a sense of humor,
That
sometimes
was not
taking a
humor.
quote from Shakespeare,
Right.
take a quote from Jack London, from whoever,
Right.
And they will show this, kill, kill, kill.
That wasn't
like
the
that.
time.
Down, down, down,
That
like
wasn't
that.
the time to be
Right.
disrespectful
He was
to the
in the bar,
process.
was not on Senate floor, not on the Senate floor.
He was on the Senate floor, of course.
Well, anyway, so
It wasn't in a
nothing
bar.
wrong for him to quote some sense of humor.
That was not humor.
That
was pure nasty.
That was to me. That
no,
was to me.
not at all.
All right. Anyway,
We disagree.
we may,
internally on that.
we may argue on that. We may disagree, but if we argue, we can argue for 2 days.
I don't do nasty.
Given the characteristics of Ken Hemming, he never gives up. Anyway, you can go.
That's true.
All
I
right,
don't.
year after year. All right, good. My dear audience, let's take another short moment now. We come back. We'll continue. I believe we're done on this one.
Yep.
But we have another issue. That is the confirmation processing. So stay with us. Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences, ladies and gentlemen, my dear fellow Americans, welcome back to the show. Today, once again, we're on the weekly update. Once again, I have my good moment with my good friend, dear brother Ken Hemming, brother by the same mother, sharing lots of common points, common ground, lots of difference too. We feel happy as ever, right? Now, the next issue we want to pick up is about the Senate confirmation process. So, how far do you comment? How do you comment on that?
Well, in the last day, yesterday and today, I've watched over 8 hours of the committee processes, okay? And yesterday, then, the Judiciary Committee, composed of Republicans and Democrats, each could make a 30-minute opening statement. Well, actually, it's supposed to be 10, but they probably averaged about 25. But an opening statement. And you know, when President Trump nominated and announced the nomination of Kavanaugh to be the next Supreme Court Justice, which I believe he will be, within an hour and 18 minutes, about 7 of the major leaders of the Democratic Party, without even knowing anything, said they would all vote against him and they would not support it. Without any they do not care if he's qualified. And for example, there's a couple Supreme Court justices who are progressive liberals that I disagree with how they think and how they live their life, but they were qualified to assess the strengths and weaknesses of cases that get to the Supreme Court in conjunction with our Constitution. Now, some of those people want to rewrite the Constitution. But so what happened, it was like particularly like Booker, Camilla Harris, Dianne Feinstein, had opening statements that were just lowlife. They were classless. They were nasty, and then they were so nasty that Kavanaugh's two daughters had to be escorted out of there because they were just, cracking up in despair over what they heard being said about their dad, who was he's as good as anybody we've ever had on the Supreme Court, I think.
And you just now mentioned that some of the senators seem to know nothing about him.
Oh, yeah. Well, they say we don't have enough information. They've got all of the documentation for over 300 cases that he settled, that he was the judge on, and I guarantee nobody's read 5 of them. But they said, we don't have enough. There's more things we need. Nobody can read, because it was like 480,000 pages.
All right.
Yeah.
There are 2 different things I would like to clarify.
Yeah.
Okay, now, if you may have the right to agree or not agree to the nomination.
And you should have a reason.
You should have a reason to back yourself up.
Other than
but
resistance
you do not,
to our president.
But you do not have the right to do your homework, necessary homework, because you are on taxpayers' money.
No, that's right.
To do the job.
To do the job with due diligence. Due diligence. That's
right?
the word.
Okay, now,
2 words.
say Jack Chow and Ken Hemming, right? I disagree with him. I can argue till tomorrow. I'm still okay. But if I'm here, say, Ken, I was asleep just now. I did not prepare myself. If my boss catch that saying, I get fired because I'm on salary to do the job.
Oh, yeah, right. Totally correct.
Am I right?
Right, no.
Okay.
Well,
I am picking the core point. The core point. If their disagreement is caused by the fact that they did not do the homework, they did not do the job because we need the money back.
Yeah, right.
It's a money back situation, right?
Yeah.
So do you think they look like they did not do the job, do their homework, or they do have a point to disagree?
I think that the only reason that they are opposed to Kavanaugh being approved as a Supreme Court justice is because their anti-Trump feelings, and that they don't want a conservative. They want a progressive. We already got progressive liberals on the Supreme Court, okay? And Ruth Bader Ginsburg has said some just horrible statements that should never be uttered. A Supreme Court judge should keep his or her mouth shut and just do the job and not politicize it, okay? And she made some big mistakes that people all agree she shouldn't be talking. But what they did yesterday then, when they were making these opening statements, and Republican, Democrat taking turns, they had it set up where about 12 times people in the gallery started screaming and protesting only when Republicans were talking, never when a Democrat was talking. And also the Democrats, like I say, Booker and Feinstein and Camilla Harris from California, holy cow, they would just interrupt all the time. Now, you don't interrupt in a dignified meeting.
They were interrupted, or they interrupted?
They were the interrupters. They
were
just
the
started saying something. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they did. And I'll say, the chairman, Grassley, who's a Republican, did a really lousy job of controlling the proceedings. He just let them ramble, both Republicans and Democrats, and it was supposed to be timed, with that you've got so many minutes to make your statement, and he admitted he did a lousy job. He let the committee run him rather than him run the meeting. Very bad, and he should be ashamed of that.
I did not watch the whole process, but I heard the comment about the processing, right?
Yeah, it was poor.
Some of the comments say that some played softballs. There are quite a few, and some were playing hardballs. So to your eye, what was the hardest ball that was played?
Well, the hardest ball played was that many on this committee, mostly the Democrats, don't care if he's qualified or not. They don't care. They don't take that into consideration. They just want him rejected, which they will fail upon, okay? But also like when Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Kagan, which are leftists, pretty radical leftists, they got lots of votes, 68 to 91 or something, because a lot of the, where you had both Republicans and Democrats, there's some that had 98, 97, 94, and that's both sides, that because the person was qualified. These guys now, they don't care if he's qualified. This is probably the outstanding judge with 12 years experience on the second highest court in America, with accolades coming from every place, accolades upon accolades, and a strong supporter of women lawyers' rights to move up. And
So far, except the agree or not agree part, is there anything being a weak point or problem that to be tackled?
Well, the weak point is the rudeness. It's not honorable and dignified. The commentaries are just like Senator Leahy today. He's
so
been
anything
there
to criticize about him?
Well, Senator Leahy has actually been a part of confirming 19 Supreme Court justices in the years he's been on there, which is too long. And that's two whole court justices plus one that and I'm not sure exactly how many he voted for or against. Okay, obviously he's going to vote against Kavanaugh, even though he's massively qualified. But and that's why, again, why we need term limits. We shouldn't have one person have an influence over 55 years or something. Get in and get out. So, and then Grassley too, they're both really older guys, okay, and they've been there a long time. And then what's happening now, the Democratic Party is moving to the left so fast that a kind of a moderate Democrat who had been there 10 times, 20 years, was beaten by a young African-American, attractive female who's a radical leftist socialist. And so this socialism is coming into the Democratic Party at a very rapid speed. And I don't know.
You wrote to me saying that the protesters.
Yeah, they were, because they were choreographed to scream in that when a Republican was talking.
And how much evidence do you have, say, choreographed?
Well, it would have to be choreographed if it was only when they would only explode when a Republican was talking, and they never did two at a time. It was always one, and then and then the cops got them out of there because it was disruptive, classless, and so I mean, all the commentators are just saying, well, this can't be just coincidence.
It's a Senate.
And a lot of them were from the women's
It's a
march,
Senate
by the way.
hearing, though.
Yeah.
Does it allow audiences? Does it allow
not
cheerleaders,
No.
stuff like that?
No, you're supposed to watch. You're an observer in the gallery. You're not supposed to participate and disrupt.
So
it's illegal.
Are the observers supposed to make a noise?
No.
And then kick them out?
Well, they did. They kicked them out. They dragged them out. They had to drag them out.
They don't have to wait until the very last minute to kick them out.
No, they didn't. When one became obnoxious, then the cops.
Was there anybody blockbustering?
What's that mean?
I mean filibuster. I'm sorry. Was there anybody filibustering?
No, not really.
Trying to prolong the speech?
No. One of the Democratic senators said to Kavanaugh, wow, you're getting pretty good at filibustering, because he was explaining his thing, which was taking time, and he was just trying to be communicatively clear. And he wasn't filibustering, but yeah, he was called the filibuster, which was funny. It was sort of stupid.
There's no actual filibustering, right?
No, because there was time limits that Grassley, the chairman, did not enforce. So there was a lot of unnecessary time.
Last thing. How do you what I see the overall.
Yeah.
Is there an issue, for example, if he had one affair, an extramarital affair, right?
Well, which again should have nothing to do with it.
If there's a tax money fraud or something,
this guy
which they hold on as the major issues, right? There's no general major issue though, just agree or not agree. How do you predict extra more days
Yeah.
to get him either confirmed or not confirmed.
I believe he'll be confirmed. There's 3 Republicans that haven't really committed to vote yes, but I think they will. And also there's maybe 4 to 6 Democrats that are in Republican states, and the states want this man confirmed. They're up for re-election, and if they don't vote to confirm him, there's a real good chance we'll pick up more senator seats. And so I hope they vote no, but he'll end up with 51 to 55 yes, which is way, way too low to what he deserves. He deserves 90
But good enough.
votes. It's good enough, but it's
good enough
still
to get
immoral.
him back on the seat.
But it's immoral. No, that's
Anyway,
right.
So, well, we're talking about we need an end judge on the seat.
We
It's
need a
4
man,
versus 4,
Right.
which is dangerous that way.
And
all
as a
right?
matter of fact, just one second of that is McCain's replacement has been announced by the governor of Arizona, and he's a conservative, and he will be able to then pass a vote for yes
Will he be just
until the next
Oh,
election.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, my dear friend, my lovely audience, thank you for watching this weekly update. With me is my good friend Ken Hamming. Let's thank him a great deal. So we'll see you next week.